Got at her bachelorette party, so I vanished quietly before the wedding and what? Hello everyone. Dear listeners, please share your thoughts in the comments section below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Now let's begin the video. Using a throwaway for obvious reasons, with certain specifics modified to preserve anonymity. I got caught up in a wild scene at her bachelorette party, so I quietly disappeared before our wedding day. What happened after that totally blew everyone away. I'm Jason, a 32-year-old guy, and I was supposed to marry Mai, who's 29, last weekend. We've been together for 3 years and I thought she was the one. We've shared 5 years together, most of it living under the same roof, and everything seemed solid, or so I believed. 2 weekends before the wedding, went on her bachelorette trip to Miami with 7 friends. I wasn't worried about it at all. We trusted each other completely. I figured they'd have some drinks, hit the clubs, maybe even see a male stripper or two, typical bachelorette stuff. I dropped her off at the airport, kissed her goodbye, told her to have a great time. During her trip I hung out with my buddies, finalized wedding plans, and picked up my tux. Everything seemed normal. She kept texting me about how much fun they were having, how she missed me, that sort of thing. She returned Sunday night, exhausted but happy, saying they had a blast but she was glad to be back home. Then on Wednesday night, just 3 days before the wedding, I received a text from an unfamiliar number. The message said, "You should see what you did at her bachelorette party. She's not who you think she is." An attached video followed. I nearly deleted it thinking it was a scam, but something made me open it. What I saw broke me apart. It was with 2 guys in what looked like a hotel room doing things to her. She wasn't drunk or out of it. She was fully aware, actively participating, even encouraging them. At one point she looked at the camera, smiled, and said, "What happens in Miami stays in Miami, right?" Then burst into laughter. I watched the full 3-minute 42-second clip, and that moment marked the end of my relationship and every future plan I'd made. I felt physically sick. I didn't confront her right away. I needed time to process everything. I spent the night in our spare bedroom, claiming I wasn't feeling well. The next morning, while she was at her final dress fitting, I called my best man, Tony, over and showed him the video. He was just as stunned as I was. I needed someone else to confirm what I was seeing. He asked, "What are you going to do?" I told him, "I'm not getting married." That day I packed a few essential things while I was out with her mom. I left her a note that simply read, "I know what happened in Miami. The wedding is off." I placed my key and her engagement ring on top of it, then moved into Tony's place temporarily, turning off my phone to avoid the chaos. When I turned it back on Saturday morning, what should have been our wedding day, I had 47 missed calls and over 60 texts from her family and some of our mutual friends. Her messages ranged from confusion, "Where are you?" to outright panic, "Please call me, I need to explain," to anger, "You're overreacting, it was a mistake," to begging, "I'll do anything to fix this." Her parents called too, first furious that I abandoned their daughter, then bewildered when they learned why. Apparently finally told them what happened after they couldn't reach me. I sent a mass text to our invited guests explaining that the wedding was canceled due to unforeseen circumstances. I apologized for the inconvenience. I also texted directly, "There's nothing to discuss, it's over." It's been a week now. I've gotten a small apartment and started working on separating my life from hers. I blocked her on everything, social media, messages, but she keeps finding ways to contact me. She insists it was a drunken mistake, a moment of peer pressure, that it didn't mean anything. But I saw the video and she wasn't hammered. She knew exactly what she was doing. Yesterday, her cousin, who wasn't at the bachelorette party, reached out. She told me is devastated, hardly eating, crying all the time. She begged me to talk to her. I told her, no. Maybe I should confronted face to face instead of leaving, but I couldn't stand to look at her knowing she betrayed me like that. The idea of standing at the altar promising faithfulness when she'd already shattered that trust, that's something I just couldn't do. I know some might say I was too harsh just walking away like this, but how do you recover from something so devastating? How can you ever trust her again? She betrayed me in the worst possible way right before our wedding. The pain and humiliation are all-consuming. I'm taking it day by day, just trying to survive this. I don't see how I can ever go back. A couple of weeks later, thanks to everyone who offered support and advice, they really helped. I found out who truly stood by me. Turns out, the person who sent me the video was the girlfriend of one of the guys was with. She'd seen him bragging about it, found the video on his phone, and sent it to me anonymously. I also learned more about through social media detective work. She's still trying to reach me. She showed up at my new apartment, crying and begging for a chance to explain herself. I let her in, tired of her causing scenes outside. Her explanation was exactly what I expected. I was drunk. It was just physical. It didn't mean anything. I love you. It was a mistake. Same old, tired excuses, but the real truth came out bit by bit. She told me they'd gone to this club and her friends had encouraged her to have one last fling. She admitted the guys weren't strangers. They'd met the night before and hung out all weekend. She swore that night was just a one-time thing, but then she broke down and said she made out with one of the guys the night before I left for the trip. The more she talked, the clearer it became. This wasn't a spontaneous mistake. There was flirting, planning, and deliberate decisions made over several days. Some of her bridesmaids not only encouraged it but even filmed the whole thing, women I thought were friends, women who should have supported us at the wedding. When I pointed that out, she got defensive, said that having a final fling before marriage is normal, that lots of people do it. That's when I lost it. Normal, you say? Betraying someone you profess to love, participating in a threesome on camera just a week before our wedding. It's not normal. She cried harder, saying I was being cruel and unforgiving, that if I really loved her, I'd understand it was a mistake and we should try to work things out. I couldn't believe it. I told her, if you really loved me, you wouldn't have fed two guys at your bachelorette party. She left after that, but not before dropping a chilling threat. You'll regret throwing everything away over one mistake. It didn't sound remorseful. It sounded like an incitement. Now she's telling everyone I was controlling and emotionally abusive, which is totally false. She's playing the victim, claiming I abandoned her without giving her a chance to explain, and that I'm punishing her for one mistake. Some mutual friends are even taking her side. As for the money, it's a mess. We're fighting over who pays what for the wedding costs. Her parents paid deposits, but many vendors had final payments just a week before from our joint account. When I left, I took only half, despite contributing more, because I refused to pay for a wedding that was canceled because she cheated. I've talked to a lawyer. Thankfully, since we weren't married yet, I think I'm financially in the clear. Still, it's a headache. The social fallout has been just as ugly. Bridesmaids are spreading rumors, distorting the truth, painting me as some kind of monster who left her over a drunken, conveniently ignoring the threesome. When I confronted her friends, they accused me of slut-shamming and said what happens at a bachelor or bachelorette party stays there. Some people bought her story. I even lost friends, people who believe her version or tell me I should be the bigger person and forgive her. That's infuriating. The worst was cousin, the one who first reached out. She posted on social media, claiming I threw away a beautiful relationship over one mistake, instead of working it out. The mistake being, of course, getting caught on camera with two guys. She called me a coward for ending it, which made my blood boil. Despite everything, I've been focusing on myself. I've been healing through therapy, working out, reconnecting with friends I drifted from during my relationship with, and planning a solo trip, a 2-week hike in Colorado. I need the space from all the chaos to clear my head. I've also been packing up our apartment, still. Hasn't taken most of her things. Every sweater, book, or mug I find feels like a tiny stab in the heart. We had 5 years together, plenty of good memories too, and that's what makes this so painfully hard. The person I loved and trusted turned out to be someone I hardly recognized. Someone suggested I might have dodged a bullet, that if she'd done this before we married, she probably would cheated during the marriage too. They're likely right, but that doesn't make it hurt any less. I keep wondering how I missed the signs, ignored red flags. I try to remember any hints that she was capable of this, but I come up blank. She seemed as invested in our future as I was. I've been asked if I regret not confronting her directly instead of leaving. Honestly, I don't. Right after I saw that video, I was in shock, unable to process what I was feeling, let alone have a proper conversation. Leaving gave me the space to think clearly, and now I'm just taking it one day at a time. Some days are better than others. Sometimes I wake up and almost forget what happened, only for reality to hit. Me, the pain coming back fresh. But I know slowly it gets easier. For now, I'm focusing on my healing, working out, finding peace, and building a new life. I've blocked again, told mutual friends I don't want updates. I don't know if this pain will ever fully go away, but I do know that I'm thankful I found out who she really was before we got married. Now, about 2 weeks ago, I learned who actually sent me the video. It turned out to be the girlfriend of one of the men was with. She'd seen him brag about it, found the video on his phone, and decided to send it to me anonymously. I was just grateful to finally have some clarity. Keeps trying to contact me, even showed up at my new place crying and begging. I let her in for a quick chat because I was tired of her causing scenes outside. Her explanation: same old, she was drunk, it was just physical, she loves me. It was a mistake. She kept insisting she didn't want me to think she was a bad person. What I didn't expect was that she admitted she and those guys had been out at a club and her friends encouraged her to have one last fling. She confessed the guys weren't strangers. They'd met the night before and she'd spent the weekend hanging out with them. She swore it was just that once, but then she broke down and said she made out with one of them the night before I left. From what she told me, it wasn't a spontaneous drunken slip-up. It was flirting, planning, repeated choices over days. Some of her bridesmaids not only encouraged it but even filmed it. Women I thought were friends, women I trusted. When I pointed that out, she got defensive, said that having a final fling before marriage was normal, that a lot of people did it. That's when I lost it completely. Normal. Betraying someone you claim to love on camera just a week before your wedding. That's not normal. She burst into tears, claiming I was cruel and unforgiving, that if I loved her, I'd understand it was a mistake and we should try to fix it. I told her, if you really loved me, you wouldn't have fed two guys at your bachelor party. She left, but not before dropping a chilling threat: you'll regret throwing away everything we built over one mistake. It didn't sound remorseful, it sounded like a warning. Now she's out there telling people I was controlling and emotionally abusive. That's all lies. She's playing the victim, claiming I abandoned her without a chance to explain. Some friends are still on her side. On the financial side, the fallout is just as bad. We're fighting over who's responsible for wedding costs. Her parents paid deposits, but many vendor payments were due just before the wedding and came from our joint account. When I left, I took only half, despite paying more, because I refused to pay for a wedding canceled over her cheating. I spoke to a lawyer. Luckily, since we weren't married yet, I think I'm in the clear, but it's still a headache. The social scene has been messy too. Bridesmaids have launched a smear campaign, twisting the story into me being some kind of monster who violated over a drunken kiss, conveniently omitting the threesome part. When I confronted her friends, they accused me of slut-shaming and said that what happens at a bachelor or bachelorette party stays there. Some people bought into her story. I lost friends, people who believe her or who say I should forgive her. It's frustrating. The worst was her cousin, the one who first reached out. She posted online about how devastated it is, blaming me for throwing away a beautiful relationship over one mistake. The mistake, of course, being getting caught on camera with two men. Despite all of this, I've been trying to focus on myself. Therapy helps, along with working out and reconnecting with friends I'd drifted from. I'm even planning a solo trip, a 2-week hike in Colorado, to get some mental space. I'm packing up the apartment slowly because still hasn't taken most of her stuff. Every piece I find, whether it's a sweater, a book, or her favorite mug, stings a little. We had 5 years together, good memories too. That's what makes this so hard. The person I thought I knew turned out to be someone I barely recognize. Someone suggested I might have dodged a bullet, that if she'd cheated before marriage, she probably would during it. That's probably true, but it doesn't make the pain any easier. I keep replaying the signs I missed, the red flags I ignored. I'm asked if I regret not confronting her face to face initially. Honestly, no. When I saw that video, I was in shock, overwhelmed, unable to think straight or say anything meaningful. Leaving was the only way I could step back and process everything clearly. Now I just take it one day at a time. Some days are rougher than others. I still wake up and forget for a moment, only to remember everything and feel that old ache rush back. But I know it's getting better slowly over time. For now, I'm working on healing, staying busy, and building a future without her shadow looming over me. I've blocked her again, told mutual friends to give me space, and I'm focusing on myself. Maybe the pain will never totally disappear, but I've come to see that knowing her truth was a relief. Then, about 2 weeks ago, I finally got the truth of who sent the video. It was the girlfriend of one of the guys involved. She'd already seen him bragging about it, found the video on his phone, and chose to send it anonymously. That finally brought some clarity. Still tries to reach me now and then. She even showed up at my new place. Crying and pleading. I let her in briefly. I was exhausted of her creating scenes outside. Her version, same old, she was drunk, it was just physical, she loves me, and it was all a mistake. She said she didn't want me to think she was a bad person. But then she admitted she and those guys had been out at a club, and her friends had egged her on to have one last fling. She confessed she wasn't a stranger, they'd met the night before, and she'd hung out with them all weekend. She insisted it was just once, but then she broke down and admitted she made out with one of them the night before I left. According to her, this wasn't a spontaneous slip-up. It was flirting, planning, and deliberate choices made over several days. Some of her bridesmaids encouraged it, even filmed it. Women I thought supported us, women I considered friends. When I told her that's not normal, she argued that it's tradition to have a final fling before marriage, that everyone does it. That was it, I lost it completely. Betraying you're on camera a week before your wedding, that's not normal. She cried harder, claiming I was cruel and unforgiving, that if I truly loved her, I'd understand her mistake and forgive everything. I told her, if you really loved me, you wouldn't have fed two guys at your bachelor party. She left after that, but she threw in a parting shot. You'll regret throwing away everything we had over one mistake. That wasn't remorse, it was a threat. Now she's spreading false stories about me, that I was controlling and emotionally abusive. That's all lies. She's playing the victim, claiming I abandoned her without giving her a chance to explain, and that I'm punishing her for one mistake. Some friends believe her, others say I should forgive her. The financial mess isn't any better. We're arguing over who should pay what for the wedding expenses. Julia's parents paid deposits, but many vendor final payments were due right as the wedding was canceled, and those were from our joint account. When I left, I only took half, despite having paid more, because I refused to fund a wedding that was called off because of her betrayal. I've consulted a lawyer. Legally, I think I'm safe since we weren't married yet. Still, it's a hassle. The social fallout continues to be ugly. Her bridesmaids have launched a smear campaign, twisting the story into me being some kind of monster who left her over a drunken kiss, conveniently leaving out the threesome. When I confronted them, they accused me of slut-shamming, arguing that what happened at a bachelorette party should stay there. Some people are buying her story. I lost friends, people who believe her or who think I should forgive her. It's frustrating. One of her bridesmaids, who actually filmed the video, called me to apologize. She admitted she regrets her role in encouraging, explained they'd all been on cocaine that weekend, which never mentioned. It gets more complicated. Apparently, this wasn't the first time Julia cheated. Told me about an incident 2 years ago involving a covered up by her friends. That revelation stung, but it also confirmed I wasn't overreacting. Knowing she'd cheated before made me realize I made the right call ending things. The pattern of deception, especially right before the wedding, forever shattered any trust between us. As for the baby, Julia admitted she reached out to both Miami guys when she found out she was pregnant. One of them blocked her immediately. The other, who's married and in a divorce, hesitates to get involved. His wife is divorcing him, and she told me that he claims the encounter was consensual, but that he was too drunk to use protection properly. No one's buying that. Julia now faces single motherhood with 2 men who want nothing to do with her or the child. Her own family, who hammered me for being responsible, now scrambled to support her during this chaos. Her father, who caused a scene at my office, avoids me when he sees me, and her reputation is in ruins. Her career has taken a hit, she's taken leave, and I hear she was passed over for a promotion. People say I should feel empowered by all this, maybe so, but mostly I just feel sadness. Sad for the years I invested, sad for the future that's never going to happen, sad for her child being born into all this mess. Most of all, I feel relief. Relief that I figured out who she really was before getting married, that I'm not tied to her through a child, that I can finally move forward free from her shadow. I've been doing well. The new apartment feels like home. Work's good, I even got promoted last month. I reconnected with old friends, made new ones. I've started seeing someone casually, nothing serious, just enjoying the moment. She understands the history I carry and respects that I'm taking things slow. Therapy, been a big help in working through the trust issues. I settled the financial disputes. It wasn't cheap, but the peace of mind was worth it. Julia finally picked up the last of her things from storage last week, so there are no more ties between us. And I now occasionally meet for coffee. We've become good friends after everything. She's dating someone new, and we often joke about how our inadvertently brought us together. I think this is probably my last update. The story, over now. Julia made her choices, and she's living with the consequences. I've made peace with what happened, and I'm focusing on building a new future. Honestly, I'm grateful for the anonymous video. Without it, I might gone through life married to someone I never truly knew. Instead, I'm free to find real happiness with someone worthy of my trust. For anyone going through something similar, I promise it gets better. The pain doesn't vanish overnight, but it fades. Life moves on, sometimes in ways you never expected. Thank you for following this story and supporting me along the way. If you like our videos, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day.